some core beliefs are a one-time traumatic experience or even a happy experience that creates a negative core belief. And so that created an elevated emotional state. And if you can get yourself into an elevated emotional state, your subconscious now is wide open to be programmed. Young people trying to figure out life, and the subconscious mind is a pretty amazing thing when you get to understand it. And we're all running off of old programs. And when you learn how the subconscious mind works, it'll change your life.
So what caused that for you? What caused you to get to the point where externally you had everything, it sounds like, but then internally, it sounds like there was a lot going on there. So what was the cause of that for you in your life at that point?
So the root cause, honestly, is a bunch of core beliefs that I was living by. The 12-year-old kid, a 1-year-old kid, 5-year-old kid, they were all core beliefs. That one told me I was stupid. Another one told me I should be afraid to fight because if I lost, I would look like I wasn't a man. My dad left when I was 2 years old, and I didn't get to really meet him until I was 12 years old. And looking up to him and admiring him, I kind of listened to a drunken story that he told about fighting one day, and it left me with a core belief that, man, gave me hell for the next 12, 10, 15 years. And an athlete that wasn't afraid to put my head in the middle of into a skirmish on the field or on a basketball court. But if somebody even talked about a fight, I just completely panicked. And for a lot of years, that led to a lot of anxiety just around what it meant to be a man. And then, anxiety surrounding not being able to read till I was 25 years old. A combination of those two things just left me in a constant state of anxiety. And I realized that I could have eliminated all of those in 2 1-hour sessions. Well, the first one, probably not. Maybe 10 sessions for the first one and, 1 session for the core belief my dad gave me. But it's just young people trying to figure out life, and the subconscious mind is a pretty amazing thing when you get to understand it. And we're all running off of old programs. And when you learn how the subconscious mind works, it'll change your life.
So, Mike, what was the difference between those two beliefs that made you say, and define what you mean when you say session? Do you mean like therapy, hypnosis? What do you mean? Number one, what do you mean by that? And then also number two, why did you say that one of them could have probably been eliminated with 1 session versus the other one, which would have been eliminated after 10 sessions? What's the difference there?
Well, the first thing is a core belief is what I'm talking about. And I actually have rewritten over 200 of my own core beliefs. And somewhere around 125, I created my own. It's a writing exercise, and it's part of my Learn to Love Being You program that I'm trying to share with the world. But some core beliefs are a one-time traumatic experience or even a happy experience that creates a negative core belief. And then the other one is I couldn't read till I was 25 years old, and I made it through public school. And so in those situations that I was constantly dealing with, where the teacher would call on me to read, or when I was a kindergartner and I couldn't spell my name, the teacher got frustrated with me and wanted me to spell Mike instead of Michael, instead of being patient with me and trying to learn. And I realized at that moment that I couldn't read it at the same level as everybody else could. And so that created an elevated emotional state. And if you can get yourself into an elevated emotional state, your subconscious now is wide open to be programmed. And I got left with that clear intention that I was dumb at that moment. So that created one negative core belief. Well, I had probably 50 negative core beliefs from my childhood. So I would have to go back to each one of those and rewrite those traumatic experiences, because each one of them will create another core belief.